Hey guys, Chad here from CNR Reviews. So it's time to do another comparison video, and this one is actually with one of the most popular subcompact 9mm pistols. We're going to be comparing the Springfield XDS to the ridiculously popular M&P Shield. Still hard to find. It's ridiculous. This thing's been out for almost a year now, and I still don't see it in shops. I've only seen about 2 or 3 of them. So let's go and let's talk about some of the features on both of these guys. Then we're going to actually do a visual comparison as far as size goes, and then we're going to weigh them as what they would be loaded. And then at the end we'll talk about price. So let's go and let's start with the Springfield XDS. Now the Springfield XDS, guys, is the new kid on the block. Brand spanking new. They've been talking about this firearm for over a year now, and we've already tested extensively the XDS 45. It comes with 2 7-round magazines, so you have a 7+1 capacity. 3-dot combat sights, and if you can see there, the front sight is red. It's a red fiber optic sight, and they give you actually replacement pieces where you can do green or red. I really like the sight picture on this thing though. It's very nice. It does have a loaded chamber indicator. Other than that, as far as features go, it has a dual spring metal guide rod, which I like. Picatinny rail here in the front if you want to run a tack light or laser. Ambidextrous mag release, and the slide catch is more of like a slide lock more than anything. You're really not going to be releasing the slide with this catch. You're more going to be releasing the slide from the rear like that. So it's very similar to like the Glock, slide catches. This one's really tough to actually press down. It does have the takedown lever right there. You have to lock the slide to the rear to actually get that up and to get the slide off. Other than that, guys, let's go over the trigger. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dry fire this firearm. I'm going to show you what this trigger is kind of unique in the subcompact category. Now, Springfield is famous for putting a grip safety on their firearms. Now, the grip safety doesn't really bother me. It pushes in very easily. I don't really even notice it. Now, this trigger has something very similar to a Glock safety trigger. It's also very similar to the Beretta Nanos trigger. It's got that little safety thing. I don't really consider that a major safety, but I do actually like the addition of the grip safety on this firearm in particular. If I was to go ahead and charge the firearm, which you can see right now, the trigger sits kind of far back in the trigger guard. If I charge it, trigger moves forward. So there's a visual. I know that I'm familiar with this firearm. If I see that my trigger's forward, I know that this firearm's charged. There's a round chambered. If I was to go ahead and walk up to it and pull this trigger, it won't do anything unless I apply pressure to the grip safety. As you'll see now, fires. Is that a big deal? You know what? I do, like I said, like that added safety of that grip safety. But the trigger, guys, feels like a staple gun. I'll just be 100% honest with you. And like I said, I don't really consider that trigger safety anything special. I wish it was a little bit lighter. It's probably around 5.5, 6 pounds. It's not a bad trigger by any means, but it's very Glock-like, let's just say that. Other than that, killer stippling on the grip. I really like it. It grips your hand very nicely. And the fit and finish is absolutely phenomenal. Let's talk about the M&P Shield. First off, we'll get this guy out of the way. This is the extended mag that comes with the firearm. Gives you the ability to carry 8+1. And it also gives you the ability to have a full grip on the firearm. Now, I'm not going to do the size comparison with this one in there because I don't have the extended mag for the XDS either. I'm going to go ahead and set this guy aside, but just know it does come with that standard. The XDS does not. It just comes with 2 7-round mags. This is the 7-round magazine with a flat base plate. So it gives you the capacity the same as the Springfield XDS 9mm. It gives you 7+1. Very similar features as far as 3-dot combat sights. These sights are awesome as well. I really like the sight picture on this one as well. It's very clean. This front sight fills out this rear very nicely. Loaded chamber indicator is a little bit different. It has a little hole in the top of the slide where you can see the round. Or I'm sorry, you can see the casing of the round. So you can actually see a visual. It's a visual indicator. Other than that, polymer fit finish is phenomenal. you're missing a Picatinny front, it's not a huge deal, especially if you're pocket carrying this. You don't really want to have a tack light or laser on there. It just adds bulk and weight. As far as features go here on the side, this one is a little bit different as far as safeties go. You have a manual safety on this firearm. Up is safe, drop it, fire. If this is up, you can still rack the slide, which that's not bad by any means. And I actually like that because I could drop my mag and go ahead and unload the firearm with the safety on, knowing there will be no accidental discharges at all. Other than that, it has a slide catch, slide release, and you have the takedown lever here. So it is very similar as far as this guy does have the takedown lever, does have the slide catch, but it doesn't have that manual safety like the M&P Shield does. Does have the typical mag release. It is not ambidextrous. And the trigger, guys, is kind of different. Let's go ahead and let's talk about that. I'm going to charge the firearm. So you can see it doesn't go forward any when you charge it, whatever. But it does have a little bit of a safety trigger. This bottom of the trigger actually pivots a little bit different. So if you don't pivot it quite perfectly, it doesn't engage with the trigger. To be honest, I don't even notice it. It's negligible. I don't even know why the hell it's there. Just put a regular damn trigger on this thing. But I recommend using this safety because the trigger can be kind of deceptive and it is kind of light, guys. Trigger pull is about 5 pounds. At least it's a little bit lighter than the XDS. So I recommend training with that manual safety. Get used to throwing it off. It disengages very easily, and make sure you train with it. Okay, so we already talked about features. Let's go to size comparison. We're going to go ahead butt end to butt end, and there you go. As you guys can see, XDS is just a little bit longer. It's not a huge difference, but it is longer. Width-wise, the M&P Shield is going to be a little bit thinner than the XDS. Now, if you're interested in the exact specs, I recommend going to the manufacturer's website. And a lot of people have trouble, guys, with numbers, and they think an inch is this big and your inch might be that big, whatever. So go ahead and go to the manufacturer's website if you want to know. This is just a visual comparison. So guys, as far as height goes, the XDS is just a little bit shorter than the Springfield M&P. Now, if I was to throw that extended mag in there, the M&P is going to be really tall. As far as width, for the grip, again, the M&P kind of wins out, but it's deceptive too. It's actually about the same thickness, but it rounds in the back and in the front. The XDS is more squared off, and so they are actually very similar though. It's not a huge difference, and both of them feel really good in the hand. So that's just a real quick size comparison. Let's go and weigh both of these. How we weigh our firearms, we weigh them as if they were loaded in your pocket. You don't carry an unloaded firearm, so don't give me an unloaded weight. We're going to start with the M&P Shield, 7+1 capacity for a total of 8 rounds. And we'll make sure we zero this off too before we do the XDS. So 7, 8. Let's go ahead and toss this guy up. Now the mag is already in there. You're looking at a loaded weight of 24 ounces. Please remember, guys, if you change the grainage of the round, it's going to change the weight of the firearm. These are 115 grain, 9mm. You can change it to 124, 147. There's 134 critical duties like this. That will change the weight significantly, so just be aware of that. So 24 ounces. We'll knock these guys back off, get it zeroed back to 0, and let's go ahead and put 8 more rounds up because it's the same. So 8 round capacity, 7+1, 6, and 7 and 8, and firearm with the mag. And you are looking at 25.8 ounces. So the Springfield XDS is going to be 1.8 ounces heavier than the M&P Shield. Is that a huge difference? No, it's not. You may be able to tell just a little bit that this guy's a little heavier, but both of them conceal very well, and you can definitely easily conceal them. The M&P Shield, I've ran it inside of my cargo pants pockets, my shorts pockets. I've carried it on my hip. The XDS is definitely easy to carry on your hip. It's almost a little bit too big though. It's starting to get a little bit too big to put in your pocket, but you could still do so in like a pair of shorts or something like that. But both of them conceal very well. So let's go ahead and finish this off, guys, with price. Now I got a screaming deal on my M&P Shield. I happened to find this guy right when it was coming out, and after tax I paid a little over $400, but I believe they were asking about $389, somewhere around there. So $389 for this was phenomenal. And I have seen, like I said, one or two, one of them in a 40. Actually, as of right now, Bullseye in downtown Tacoma has a 40 cal, and I believe they were asking around $400, maybe a little bit more. So it's something, if you're interested, give them a call, find out. But don't spend over $450 for this firearm. I know it's in high demand, but wait a little bit. They will have more out. I know it's slow as hell, but just hold out, guys. The XDS, though, is considerably more. And I paid $560. It was over $600 after tax. And I got to tell you, that's a lot of money to fork out for a polymer pistol. It's even more expensive than my Glock 26, so it's going to run you on the higher end. There are even more expensive polymer pistols out there, so this one's by far not the most expensive. But if you're looking for all those features, this guy has tons to offer you. Springfield also gives you a little holster. They give you mag holsters. They give you a really nice case, and I think this firearm is worth the money. So around $560, you're going to spend. In some cases, I've seen them for $575, and I know they'll probably even be $600 in some areas. But I wouldn't go over $600 for this firearm. Keep looking. Shop your mom and pop shops. So guys, that's a real quick comparison. Which one's better? You know what? I'm not going to tell you. We're going to go ahead and I believe Ryan's going to do a shooting comparison between these just to see how well they group for him. Each person's going to be different. But I am going to be doing a featured video of which 9mm subcompact's the best. Look forward to that. These are both great options though. And if you have any questions regarding either of them, feel free to ask. Check out our channel if you want to see more about the M&P Shield. We already have tons of videos on it. We're going to have tons of these we're going to have tons of vids for the XDS as well. We have over 500 videos covering all manner of firearms. So check out our channel. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Chad from CNR Reviews, and have a good night.